That's what
They're all
cicadas sound
lurking.
like. I forgot about that. So, but excited to have you here. We're just going to kind of jump into this one. Um, we got Georgia and Nevada joining us here on the podcast. How's everything been going?
Yeah, good. It's been busy recently, but like good busy, so that's nice.
Yeah, that's always good times. It's been a good while since we've had you back on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Has it been 2 years, or did we have you on at some point last year?
I think it's been 2 years. Yeah, it's been a really long time.
How's everything with the music been going? I know you took a little bit of a break. I think I read.
Yeah, I had a little bit of a break, lots of life things going on. But yeah, now it's all we're back. I'm doing loads of there's so much happening that it's all just like mushy in my head.
Fair.
But yeah, no, it's an exciting time at the moment.
Nice. So you went from a 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, basically. I mean, even when I was on this like sort of break, I
Mhm.
guess you could call it, I was still gigging like every other week. I was still doing like full band shows and stuff, and so I was doing everything that happens that isn't sort of the recording side of it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it still feels like I've gone from 0 to 100, even though I was still doing stuff. I still feel like I've just thrown myself in and gone for it again.
Fair.
And yeah, in at the deep end, but it's good.
Right. Right. I think the term break is always loosely used because I've been telling myself for the last month, ever since I got back from Nashville at the beginning of this month, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I've got enough podcasts saved up. I've got enough, so I could take like at least a 3 week break, right? And not really have to worry about, oh, where am I going to find this podcast? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, from the 4th of July all the way to like August 1st, I kind of want to just take that off. Except I keep finding myself booking podcasts,
It's just slowly shrinking.
right? And it's like, well, if I get a week, all I need is a week. And then I started
Uh,
realizing it's like I'm going on vacation at the end of July. Well, not vacation. My grandma turns 90
oh
in
wow.
at the end of July. So it's like I'm going to Chicago just to kind of
Oh,
be
fun.
there. And it's like it's not really a vacation. It's just going to visit family. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Wait, does it count?
yeah,
Make it
so
count. It'll count.
it right. It'll count because I won't have to worry about doing interviews, but it's like 6 days off, and that's not really a break. That's just kind of like, oh, I forgot to schedule a podcast this week. My bad.
I had an interview the other day, and the lady I was talking to called it hibernation.
Right.
I was like, I guess we could call it a hibernation. Like,
Right.
yeah, from
It,
recording, I suppose.
yeah, it's like you're going into hibernation. Oh, wait, nope. You're just taking a nap.
Yeah,
More
literally.
accurate is you're taking a nap.
Yeah, a broken nap, I'd say.
Right. Right. Right.
One of those where you
So,
just keep waking up. It's
right,
fine.
yeah, it's like, oh, dang it. So, but no, I'm glad we're getting this chance to sit down and chat. Like we'd said, it's been a good little bit. So obviously when we started talking last week, I was for the email that you sent me about a new single that you got dropping, which will be out Friday. Yes, Friday. That's how
Yeah.
math. How's how what was the whole process, or what was the whole thought process going into this song? Like why now? Why were you ready to start releasing music now?
Yeah, I mean, all the life things that were happening have started to kind of settle a little bit. I had time to reflect. I've been writing during that time as well. So I kind of went back and was like, right, this is I want to release more music. I just didn't have the capacity to be able to do so. So yeah, I went back and I found home, and I really really love this song, and I've been playing around with my band with it for a while, and we've been playing it at all our shows as well. So it just felt natural that this was the first one to be released, especially as it's called Home, and it definitely feels like the return to music, and also like the genre is quite fluid, I guess, with this
Mhm.
song. It's a bit more kind of like southern rocky.
Yeah,
So for me, it's also like finding my place in music, and again, that all relates back to home. So I was like, this is the right song, the right time. Let's go for it.
yeah, for sure. Do you feel like this song is the more accurate representation of who you are as a musician or who you want to be as a musician?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say so. Especially as like I said, my band had such a huge part in like the bringing it to fruition, I guess. That it I had a lot more sort of sense of direction with what I wanted to do with this song. And because I had such a long break where I was still playing it at all the shows, I've kind of workshopped it a lot and played around with the sound and the guys have done that too. And yeah, no, I'm really really happy with how this one sounds. It's definitely a good indication of the direction that like the rest of the rest of Georgia Nevada, I guess.
Fair, very fair. Um, so what is the story of Home? What's it about?
So it is about kind of like finding confidence and I guess the kind of guts to just go for it, and to just like jump in and even if you don't quite know what the destination looks like, to just sort of embrace the journey and find that just as fun as the result. Um, so yeah, and it was written at a time when I really felt like I was lacking that. Like I didn't really know what was going on. There were loads of things happening where I was like stuck in the middle of stuff I didn't want to be stuck in the middle of. And so it sort of helped me to find my own direction and my own kind of like way out of that, to just sort of, you know, remind myself of what it was that I'm actually doing in this life and what it is that I'm striving for.
Fair, very fair. So you had mentioned that Home was a song that you've played out several times, you know, all that fun stuff. How long have you been sitting on, how long has it kind of been in your arsenal?
Oh, maybe like a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, quite a while.
Now, is that an approach that you like taking, is just recording songs that you've been playing for a little bit so you're kind of more comfortable with the song, or do you prefer like recording and releasing music that nobody's heard before?
It's sort of a bit of both, really. I think there's value in both of them, because like when you've got a song that is straight from having been written to then recording without kind of playing it live, you've got the direction that you initially wanted to go with, and sometimes your initial gut kind of response to the song can be what the song needs. It can be exactly what the song is and what it needs, and it's the most probably authentic version of the song. But then equally playing it live, you can judge people's responses. You can see how the song kind of evolves in that live setting and like with the band and stuff. And you know, sometimes we'll throw something weird in. There's like my husband's my drummer. Sometimes he likes to stick a cowbell in a song, and then we're like, wow, that's what it needed. So
That's
you know, then you can have situations like that where I think playing it live is really really beneficial.
hmm I've always been a big proponent of letting a song, at least playing it out a few times before
Yeah,
recording it, because that's kind of where you get the opportunity to let the song mature and kind of find
exactly.
its natural groove or progression, because it's like in your head you have it one way, and I like me as a creative as well, I know when I get something in my head it's like I'm going to force it to work that way, even though it doesn't necessarily work that way for the best. And so, kind of having that opportunity to play it out and see how people respond to it, you kind of let the song naturally work itself out.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. I completely agree with that.
So, awesome. So, Home, that'll be out on the 28th. Is this the first single in the line of multiple singles, or are you kind of putting this one out and then you're going to figure out moving forward?
Yeah, no, there is a plan. There is a very I'm working to a timeline. I've
Okay.
got we're actually I'm in the studio later today as well. So there's a lot of stuff following this song. This is definitely the first of many. And it's, you know, on release day there's a bit of a surprise on release day, which should be quite cool.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about that as well. And then it's being followed by a music video, which will be coming out a week later. So
Yes.
it's all quite it's all systems go.
Fair. So you're kind of jumping right back in feet first.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
So during this quote unquote break, basically just we're more worrying about the live aspect and not so much everything else. What were some things that you kind of took away? Was it like how much you like writing, or was there anything you kind of took away from this kind of hiatus or hibernation or whatever it is we want to
Um,
call it?
yeah, I mean, it was really nice to be able to write without feeling like I needed to record it. like
Mm,
it was nice to be able to write as therapy again almost, which was like I really really love that. And I think I'd forgotten how much I love it because I'd gotten so bogged down with like metrics and um all the other stuff that sort of stunts being creative, I
mm,
guess. And it also gave me a chance to really sort of find my place with the style of music and with the band, and to sort of find that actually I can still be country and I can still love rock as well. I can still mix those two genres and fit into both sections. So that for me was like a really important discovery that I needed, because I was starting to feel a little bit like, do I fit? Am I right here? Am I not? Do I need to like rethink everything and then panic, which then led to hibernation? So
right.
I think coming out, that was an important part of coming out of that. Um, but yeah, no, I definitely like the writing and the sort of working out where I fit.
So it kind of gave you the opportunity to fall back in love with the art of writing music, not so much stressing about, oh, I've got deadlines to meet, or I've got to try and mimic this, or what, like the more I don't want to say monotonous side of writing, but like um the superficial side of writing, I guess.
Yeah,
Is
yeah, definitely. And actually, like it ended up that I have so many songs that I'm like the ones that are going to be released are a tiny little portion of the things that were written, which is really cool. And it means I'm still writing during all of this busyness that's happening now around the music, and that is what I needed to be able to do. I needed to be able to like have be in the middle of a campaign for a song while still being able to be creative and writing other stuff as well. Because that's kind of where I was finding a problem, I think, is that I was so involved in the release of one song that then I was freaking out about the fact I hadn't written anything, and then it was just snowballing. We don't need that. We don't need a snowball.
right? No, not at all. So for the release of Home, are you doing like a release show, or are you got anything planned in that regards?
Not for this one, but we're looking for it will be, there will be stuff coming out, definitely. It's I think with this, for me it was just important to sort of re-engage with my audience, with people that listen to my music, and to find new people that will like it as well and like the new sound, and then build those relationships from there.
For sure, for sure. So outside of music, what have you been doing recently? I've noticed that um at least from what I've remember on your social media, you've become a lot more just day-to-day life on social, not necessarily just posting music, because I vaguely remember you posting something about you and your husband were supposed to go somewhere and then he started watching football or something. I
Oh
don't,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, exactly that. The Euros are on at the moment, which
yeah,
is, you know, that's taken over my life.
right.
But we're dropping down from 3 days, 3 games a day to like one, so I'm happy
Okay.
about that. But yeah, no, I think like it, it's really I'm having a really great time
Mhm.
with that. And I got married, we bought a house. That all happened in the last 2 years as well. So there's been some really, really lovely things that have been going on. And again, it's that sort of like building relationships with people. And I feel like when you break down that like fourth wall between social media and what's actually happening in life, I think that you can get a really nice relationship built through that. And I've actually found that I've had, you know, really great conversations with people who love the 3 songs that I've released, back in the day. And they still are excited for this release, even though they weren't around for when those ones were released, because of all of the interaction that we've been having on socials in those 2 years where I have taken the time off of releasing. So it's been fun, and it just takes the pressure off. It makes it a lot more fun and enjoyable for everyone. I think like it's a bit of a break from the serious social life, I think.
Have you, since you've been on this break, have you kind of seen and started having all these new people kind of come into your world, into your circle, like however you want to define it? Have you seen a resurgence on some of your older music that's been out for a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. Actually, like Still on a Shoestring has had a bit of a jump in streams and stuff, which is really cool because I'd say probably that one and Saving Grace are like the closest to what this new sound is. So yeah, no, a little bit. And like people sort of interacting with my music when I post it on like things like TikTok as well.
Mhm.
Um, I'm seeing a lot of that, and it comes with being more normal, I guess, more like day to day, more like this is my personality, this is who I am. I hope you like it.
Fair.
um, so yeah, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And then obviously you'd mentioned that the Euros are on and that's kind of starting to wrap up. But like outside of music, what have you been getting into recently?
Oh gosh, I've really been getting into art. I've been doing a lot of creative things on that front. I've been going to like art classes and stuff as well, which is a really nice like switch off because although writing is also a switch off, at the back of my mind, I've always got like once I write a cool song, I'm then in campaign mode. Do you
Right.
know what I mean? And I'm like, how can I get this to people's ears? So I think being able to like switch off and go to like an art class and sit and draw some people or like life drawing naked people is
Mm.
so much fun. Like honestly, if no one's tried it, you should definitely try it. Um, so yeah, like things like that have been really cool.
Nice, nice. I'd try it, but I'd just destroy somebody's ego because I am the absolute worst drawer. Like
I
it
mean, I'm
it
not
does.
great. I'm really not. It's just fun. And you know what? The life drawing models have the thickest skin
Mhm.
because everyone's like art is so subjective that like you could literally be drawn with three heads and they're like, oh, I love it. It's brilliant.
I don't know how to respond to that one. That's hilarious. Oh, no, that's cool. So basically, even when you're not doing music, you still like to try and find something more artistic, just in a different.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
It, it's always interesting to kind of have this conversation because I feel like some musicians they reconnect with multiple forms of art, and so it's like okay, music takes one part of my brain, but then like drawing or photography or video editing or whatever it is takes another part of my brain. But then you have the flip side where some musicians, it's like okay, music is the art, and then I need to do something a little bit more analytical or something that's can disconnect from
Yeah.
everything. And so that's kind of always the interesting topic of conversation.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
um with all that going on, where are you kind of at show wise right now? Are you staying consistent, or like I know mentioned earlier that you're playing a few times a week, but where are you kind of at show wise right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gigging all through the festival season. We've got a bunch of festivals lined up. I'm actually playing at a place called Santa Pod on the 7th of July, which is like a massive raceway in England. It's in like
Nice.
sort of like middle-ish of the country, I guess.
Right.
And yeah, we're playing there for like a drag racing event, which is gonna be
Okay.
really cool. It's like vintage drag racing as well. So I'm really
Nice.
excited about that. I'm also playing a couple of like hometowny festivals. We've got yeah, there's a bunch like there's a bunch of festivals, and they're all really different as well, which will be cool. Some of them are mixed genre, some of them are a bit more like folk country leaning.
Mhm.
So it should be good.
Nice. What are some of the big festivals in the UK right now? I know a couple of them, but yeah.
Oh gosh. I mean, we've got Glastonbury, we've got some really cool country ones like the Long Road and
Mhm.
Black Deer Fest. It's like Americanery.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I mean, there are so many. It's
Nice.
crazy, and they're all popping up now. Especially like country has had a real resurgence, I
Yeah.
guess, in the UK. Like particularly, it's gone mad.
Hmm.
And the amount of country festivals that are popping up all over the place now
Yeah.
is great,
Well,
but it's so hard to keep track of.
right. Well, I mean, it's very interesting because the last trip I went to in Nashville, I was at CMA Fest. I think we
Oh,
had talked
cool.
about this briefly, and the amount of UK artists that were there
Yeah.
was mind boggling. Like I didn't. There were some artists because I was doing like podcast interviews and stuff. I was set up in their little media lounge deal,
Awesome.
and there was a few people that I knew were from the UK just because I had worked with them in the past, and then there was a few that came in and I didn't know they were from the UK, and they came in and they had their British accent, and I'm like, Holy crap. You're like the
Like you're
sixth,
everywhere.
right? And not that that's a bad thing, because I definitely think even when I started working with more UK musicians at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020, which is I think when we first sat down to
Yeah,
chat, um, that's kind of, I don't want to say that's when the scene was in its infancy, but y'all were really trying to figure out who you wanted to be as country musicians, because
exactly.
in a genre that speaks to authenticity, the UK had to figure out what that meant.
Yeah, we had to find what the authenticity was for us. And I
Yeah.
think that's definitely happened. Like I think it's sort of we've kind of been allowed the freedom to discover that before it sort of kicked off in the
Yeah.
UK, I think, which is really nice because now, although it is it is the American country that people in the UK are drawn to still. It has made space for us a little
Hmm.
more. It's made kind of space for UK artists to be seen at CMA Fest and for it not to be like really abnormal. And it's and in our own festivals as well, there are UK acts that are headlining the stages every
Hmm.
year. There's some of my friends who have been like Amelia Quinn. She's a brilliant musician.
Hmm.
She headlined Buckle and Boots this year, which is a
Yeah.
country festival in the UK, and that was like so cool. And Kezia Gill did it before her, and Jade
Hmm.
Halliwell, and there are some massive UK country artists that are doing so well, and they absolutely deserve those spaces. And like there's bands as well, people like Morgan Way. I don't know if
Hmm.
you've
Yep.
spoken to Morgan Way at all. They're brilliant. They're so cool. And they have their own. They've found their own spaces, and they've made it like the style of music authentic to them. And I think that's yeah, it's really nice
Yeah.
to see.
I was really hoping to get to sit down and chat with Kezia. I had her on.
Awesome.
She was headlining Country on the Coast down in Portsmouth, I think. Which is,
Okay.
yeah, this was like 2 years
Quite a
ago,
while
and
ago. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I knew the PR agent that was handling a lot of that stuff, and she was like, here's a few people to set up interviews with, and she was one of them. And then before you knew it, Kezia was just kind of like everywhere, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's really cool. So
She has absolutely blown up and she represented the UK so well at CMA Fest. Like she absolutely earned that spot. And it was so nice to see. I think for all of the UK country artists, it was just such a cool thing to see that like one of our own was
mhm.
there
Yeah,
and just absolutely crushing it. It was great.
yeah. One of the other artists that I got to sit down and chat with was Remember Monday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I sat with them, and I was like, okay, after that interview, it's like, okay, I got to go back and like look and, just kind of catch up on everything they had going on. And,
Yeah.
they're really talented. So,
They're busy as well. They're doing loads at the moment, aren't they?
right.
I've yeah, recently found Remember Monday actually, and I don't know why it's taken me so long. But I found them a few months ago and I was like, these guys are cool.
Right. Right. Right.
I like these guys. I want to be their friend.
That's actually, you brought up Amelia. I got to reach out to her. She messaged me not too long ago, and I don't know if I messaged her back. So,
Oh, you should absolutely reach out to Emmy. Yeah, she's brilliant. She's
yeah.
great.
It's so funny because all the musicians, like a lot of the musicians from the UK that I've worked with during the pandemic, like 2020, 2021, that ballpark, a lot of them have just gone on to the craziest. Like Amelia's doing so well, Danny McMahon's doing so well.
Yeah.
You're doing so well, and it's like it's absolutely cool to think that maybe I had any little part in that. So,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's interviews and it's podcasts and it's like press that care about independent
mhm.
artists in general that are you guys give us more of a platform and that's what we that's what we need.
Right, right. Um, so looking at your plans for the rest of the summer, obviously you got Home dropping out in less than a week,
Yeah.
um, or the 28th, depending on when I get this podcast out. We'll kind of keep it a little friendly there. Um, how many more songs would you like to try and get out this year? Do you kind of have that planned, or is it just kind of like a more vague roadmap right
um
now?
I really wish I could tell you all the things.
Fair,
I
fair,
really
fair.
do. But there will be plenty. Yeah, there is a good sizable project coming sizable.
Fair,
Really
fair.
sizable.
Gotcha, gotcha. Fair enough.
But no, I'm so excited. Like it's going to be nonstop this year, and that's the way that I think it's the way that I need it to be, and the way that it needs to be for me
Hmm.
right now as well. It needs to be like a bit of a nonstop situation because I built up a lot of sort of momentum, I guess, in
Yeah,
between sort of like 2020 and 2021. And then obviously all the things happened and I kind of had to take a bit of a step back. But it that time that I was taking that step back for, all I wanted to do was this. So it's I'm so excited to be back that I just can't be stopped now. That's it.
right. All right.
I'm on a mad one.
Hey, it happens. I'm excited to see how things go. It
Thank you.
it's I've always enjoyed chatting with you. I've always enjoyed listening to your music. And when you drop this new music video, there's a thing that I've been doing on our YouTube channel that
Yeah,
I will have to use your music video for. Um,
please do.
I do a music video critique series now
Oh,
where
that's terrifying.
it's really not that bad. So,
It's fine. You
uh,
can be mean to me if you like, but
no. It's really not like so. Basically, I had started off this idea of doing music video critiques, but doing it as a character, as like a staunch music video purist.
that is so funny. I
And
love
so
it.
I was gonna have like a beret and like gray, like
Stop.
I was gonna deck it out, and I was just gonna be like Simon Cowell, just like very mean for no reason.
I love it. I love it. And you
And
know what? Actually, my dad directed the video, and my family, my sister was assistant director, my mum did the costuming,
yeah,
my other sister was a makeup artist. So, like, you could absolutely go in. We would find that amazing. My family would love that.
so
It's the kind of thing we love a good roast.
right, and so I'm still playing on that because I don't necessarily want to do it to independent musicians because that kind of goes against my thing. But
What if
then
you
I
give
was
them
like,
permission?
what if I did it to like major label artists, but then it's like then that's going to get back to me. So I found this or Instagram page that puts up like these terrible, like they're intentionally terrible music videos, and I was like, I
Right.
could do it to that and just kind of pile on, and it wouldn't be that bad. It would be kind of more funny than anything. So
This sounds good either way. I'm excited to see it. Let me know
um,
when you get going. Send me
Yeah,
the links.
well, so the in general the critiques are go up. Like I'm doing them pretty consistently throughout the
Oh,
week.
awesome. I'll have a look.
But they're more like creative. They're more insightful than like mean, I guess,
Okay.
So
No, nice. I'll have a look for sure.
it
And I'll send it all over to you
okay,
when it's ready to be sent.
sweet. Awesome. Can't wait. Um, so just kind of looking forward, do you have any shows coming up in the next month that you can talk about or that you want
Yeah,
to plug?
yeah. I mean, I'm playing this Santa Pod Raceway drag Nostalgia event on the 7th of July. I'm then at Old Town Live Festival in Stevenage on the 3rd of August, and I'm at Old Town Live Festival in Ware on the 27th of
So
July. And then I'm at Goat Fest on the 24th of August. And then I am at another car show on the 7th of September.
nice.
It's pretty consistent. And they're all really cool shows as well. So it should be good.
Nice. That's awesome. I keep telling myself the way I'm going to get out to the UK is coming out for like a music fest or two. Find like two music fests that are one week, like a week apart. So it's like one weekend, the next weekend. So it's not like,
You know what you should have a look at in that case? Buckland, oh no, Buckland Boots, I guess it's a bit far from Black Deer. They're about 3 weeks apart.
okay.
If you can extend a trip, or there's Black Deer and the Long Road as well, which I think are about the
Yeah.
same, sort of like 3 weeks apart.
So what I was in the back of my head, what I was looking at, because I worked it out last year, I was going to try and do it, but I just couldn't get everything set up in time, was the Long Road and then British Country Music Festival up in Blackpool.
Yes.
And I think they're exactly about a week apart.
Oh, well, that's got to be done. Yeah, when is Long Road actually? I think I was wrong. It's
I
not
think
soon, is
it's
it?
the 23rd of August, so like in 2
Oh
months.
yeah, no, it's nowhere near Blackdeer. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. That's a
So
great idea. And then you get to kind of scale the country as well.
yeah, and it that's so funny because it's like everybody, like I feel like the UK is relatively easy to get around in comparison to the United States.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
You get
because
lost down some country lanes, but you'll have a great time.
honestly, I'd take the train. Like I'm all about taking
Oh,
trains.
really?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, if you're taking the trains, it's substantially easy. You literally just go into London for everything and come back out.
yeah, because
Yeah, that's a breeze.
it gives you the benefits of driving, like being able to like actually see everything without having to worry about actually driving.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely. And obviously it would be, yeah, on the side of the road and all of the other
yeah,
problems that come with driving. And also our
right.
lanes are substantially smaller than in the US.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Well, I was telling I had another artist from the UK on about a week or two ago, and I was
Right.
telling her I was like I was watching this video about the UK driver's test and how hardcore it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I could pass the UK driver's test if I was like 16, like whatever the age limit is in the UK.
Yeah, it is hard. It's really hard. And like I know people who have literally taken that test 5 times and not
Mhm.
passed it because it's brutal. But the thing is, then you pass it and then you just forget about it. You never
Right.
have to do it again. And you could be driving into your 90s, having
That
forgot everything that you did when you were 16.
that is interesting because in the States, you don't necessarily have to retake it
Mhm.
until um unless you have a bunch of like traffic violations or something. And
Yes.
then next when your driver's license is due to renew, they'll make you retake it again. So
Oh, see, that's cool. I feel like that should be more of a thing. I think I hear like once you have your license, you pretty much have your license unless they take it, but
yeah.
then you just get given it back. Do you know what I mean? They can take it for 6 months and then just go, here you go, you can drive again now.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
that's crazy.
Maybe that's why the test is so hard.
Right, right. It's just like, okay, I'm good. Like, I mean, maybe if I was born in the UK, it wouldn't be such a big thing. But for me, I was just sitting there watching it, and I'm like, really? Like
No.
they were marking people down for not looking over their shoulder enough.
Yeah. Oh my
Eh,
God, yeah. Like it you can get, so you can have like you have like minors and then you have
mhm.
majors.
Yeah,
And if you have a major, you fail straight away.
yeah,
And if you have a minor, it can be like I had a friend who literally didn't slow down on the approach to a green light
yeah.
and failed. That was a major, right? Like
I hit the gas on the green light, and
right?
like,
Same. I'm not gonna let that go red.
yeah.
But no, apparently that was a bad shout. You didn't like
Uh,
hesitate, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. It's
I don't know.
I
It
mean,
sucks.
here in where I'm at in Central Texas, I've gotten a little bit better about slowing, like in an intersection going into a green light, because there's been a couple of times where somebody doesn't stop coming the other way, and
Oh,
yeah, so
you got a lot of like crossroads, haven't you?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, they scare me. We have
it
roundabouts here. Like we just have endless roundabouts.
right.
Great.
Roundabouts aren't too bad. I don't mind roundabouts. The only thing that
So bad.
scares me is depending on how they're designed, because there's this one place over by my dad's house where it's a fork in the road going into a roundabout,
Stop. Oh no. That
and
doesn't sound
it
fun.
we call it the drunken corner because you've almost got to be drunk to navigate this thing, because it's like you've got the fork in the road, but you're also worried about the roundabout, and then it feeds into an intersection. So
Horrible.
there's been a couple of times where it's like the roundabout gets backed up because the intersection is sitting on a red light, and it's like, what's
Oh
the point of
God.
the roundabout if you're just going to have an intersection like
Not
a
fun.
100 feet away?
We've got one in a place called Milton Keynes that
Yeah.
is it's known as the magic roundabout because it's literally like a roundabout in the middle and then there's like five around it. So you
Okay.
go around a roundabout to enter the big roundabout, and then to get off of the big roundabout, you enter a little roundabout, and then you can go off. It's horrible. Would not recommend.
Okay. I will not be driving it. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Avoid
really
Milton Keynes at all costs, and you're all right.
fair. Very fair. But it's been an absolute blast chatting with you. I've always enjoyed these conversations. We'll have to have you back on later this
Yes.
year as you get ready to release more music and hopefully the sizable project that we cannot talk about.
No,
Um,
thank you very much. I love chatting to you. It's always fun.
yeah, absolutely. What's your social medias if anybody wants to check you out?
Yeah, so literally just if you search Georgia Nevada on anything, I will appear. I'll either be Georgia Nevada UK, which I think I am on like Twitter, and then I'm Georgia Nevada everywhere else. Because I still can't use Twitter, X, whatever it's called. I don't know. Georgia Nevada, basically.
Fair. Perfect. So are you on Threads or as well, or do you
Oh gosh, yeah, there's threads too. Yeah, I'm on that. I think I'm just Georgia Nevada on there as well.
I think it's
It's a
this
bit
whatever your
inactive.
Instagram handle is. Whatever your
Yeah.
Instagram handle is your Threads handle. So
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I never got into like the Twitter or the Threads thing. I can't get my head around it.
yeah,
But I think that's because I have the capacity for like three social networks and then I'm like capped
yeah.
out. But
Twitter, it's just a mess. Like I can't get into it. Threads, I see the potential of
okay.
because it's what Twitter used to be.
Yeah.
But now Twitter, I just get the most random BS, and it's like I don't care. Like
Yeah.
leave me
We're so
alone.
used to seeing things that are relevant to us now as well, aren't we? Like
Yeah.
algorithms are so great that like you see something that's not relevant, you're just like, this is stupid.
hmm
Not
It's
doing
like Twitter, just give me my sports updates and I'll be happy. Like that's all I want from you. Just give me my sports updates
that.
and
You can
any
watch
like
the Euros with Will.
right. Honestly, I do need to come up there because I need to go watch my team.
Who are
So
they? Who are
uh
your team?
Everton.
Everton. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Why Everton?
So funny story. Not or leading up to this year or this past World Cup.
Right.
Um, I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, every year I watch the World Cup, or every time I watch the World Cup, I get into it, but I never really know what's going on. Like, so it's just kind of like watching it, and I kind of understand the fundamentals of football, soccer, whatever we want to call it. Um, and so I understand the fundamentals, but I just didn't know who anyone was.
Oh,
And
yeah, no,
so,
fair enough.
yeah, and so I was talking to somebody. I was like, "Who? What's like a Premier League team to root for?" And they were like, "You should go root for Everton. That's my team." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And so I went and bought like
They
a
screwed you over there. Telling you to support Everton.
I mean, it's
They're not the
okay.
worst, but like
They're not bad, you know.
you could do better.
I'm a glutton for punishment, anyways. Like every sports American sports team I watched, like they're like the worst team ever. So
I
it's
mean,
what it
fair
is,
enough. Yeah,
you know. Um,
maybe.
but yeah,
You had the
so
dogs.
that's how they got me. And then actually, my cousin's husband, he's from South Africa, and
Okay.
he's an Arsenal fan,
Right.
and, and he was like, why didn't you just start watching, or why didn't you just ask me? I'd have told you to watch Arsenal, at least a good team. And I'm like,
You've at least got like a sort of you're in the running with Arsenal.
yeah,
Like Arsenal, Tottenham,
yeah.
Chelsea have fallen off the bandwagon a bit. But yeah.
But I will say, once Everton, if Everton ever wins the championship or goes to the Champions League, I will be so proud. I will be so
You'll be
happy.
waiting a while.
This is fair. This is very fair. Who's your team?
Well, my husband's a Tottenham supporter,
Okay.
so I and his whole family are very Tottenham. So
Okay.
I feel I am probably Tottenham, but I like to say that I'm a Brighton supporter because
Okay.
I love Brighton, but I
Fair.
know nothing about Brighton.
Fair.
Not the
Fair.
team anyway.
Fair. I really did get into Wrexham there for a bit. Like they,
Interesting, yeah.
because they had a whole Netflix series for a while with Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
So I got into them for a bit, and I don't watch the games because it's really hard for me to find the games.
Yeah. No, I
Uh,
mean it's hard for us to find the games, honestly, as well. Like
yeah,
it's not it's really difficult. You have to pay so much money to like be able to see one of the games. It's mad.
Yeah.
But no, Wrexham's a good shout. At least it's owned by someone
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And so like I've just kind of been following them and like just, I don't watch the games or anything, but like
Mm.
when I get a minute to be like, oh, how are they doing?
Yeah, it's a
So
wholesome story.
yeah, for sure. For sure. But another side tour on this conversation, which is always fun.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. But I really appreciate you. I always enjoy chatting with you. If anybody wants to check out your music, the new single as it drops, we will have the link in the description below. Georgia, Nevada, thank you so much. And we will
Thank you so
catch y'all
much for
later.
having me.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
Thanks.